Hello, my name is Erica, the millennial.
And I'm Angie, the Gen Z.
So, thank you for joining us this Wednesday. I'm really excited to see what Angie has in store for us.
I'm pretty excited too. I know I said that last time Erica was gonna have a choice, but I kinda begged her.
She kind of vetoed my vote, and she decided that she's gonna.
Yeah, I vouched for her.
She's gonna. Yeah, she basically voted for me. But that's okay, right, Angie?
Yeah, well, personally, I like this story a lot. I think you'll like it too, because we kind of have the same taste in some of the areas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty interested in all these like weird or like paranormal stuff. So I am excited for that.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I really do like it. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how have I not heard of all of these? Because I was also watching this like Netflix series
Yeah,
called Kai the Hitchhiking like axe wielding
I've heard of
hero,
him.
and then I
Oh,
was
he's a
thinking, I think this happened like in the early 2000s or something, and I was thinking, why did I never hear this? Like I've been living under a rock, like I had no idea this was a thing, but he was like trending in all these like social media sites. I think it was like
Was he barely trending though?
yeah, I mean, I guess like
Well,
during that time he was barely trending.
oh, I thought you meant right now, right now.
No. This is old. Like
I
they already
didn't know
had
this either.
they already made a whole documentary about it and everything.
Erica, you know I'm not really that
What?
advanced in like real life
Oh, not in real life,
nonfiction.
only in fiction.
Yeah,
Okay.
sadly.
Okay.
But I've heard of him. Or I heard of that amongst you and our other siblings and like family members.
Yeah, because I barely started watching it, and then I finished it. It was good.
Good?
I liked it. It was good. I just wish it was because you know how like they usually have like 3 episodes per series.
Yeah. Was it?
This was just like a movie, like an hour or so.
Oh,
But
it was,
I would have
it was-
preferred
Hmm.
3 episodes. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I understand.
I like seeing those documentaries. I'm like, wow. But yeah.
Me too sometimes.
But yeah, But yeah, so I was like to say, I feel like I live under the rock because I had no idea what was going on. I have no idea about these stories. Like I haven't heard of them, other than from you.
Yeah.
So
You heard some from TikTok, no?
from TikTok, I mean, I've only seen like the most basic ones like skinwalkers and like I saw this one.
Well, that isn't a creepypasta. That's like
Oh, well, just like
an
see, I
urban
haven't
legend.
seen creepypastas.
Yeah.
And then there is this one about this guy
Mm-hmm.
that he like legit like punches ghosts. Have you seen him? He's like this Asian guy. I have no idea from what
Yeah,
type.
I've seen where there's one where he poured boiling water on a ghost and the ghost screamed.
Really? Did it
Yeah,
really?
It was pretty funny.
The ones I've seen is where he's kind of like hiding, or he's kind of like just,
Like
he's not hiding. He's kind of just there next to like a door or something.
and he opens it and he punches it, huh?
No,
Or
I don't
like-
know. Like the ghost like peeks through, and he either punches it or he kicks it or he does something.
Wait, then
And
I haven't. I'm pretty sure we've seen different ones because the guy that you're talking about, is he like in abandoned houses?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy I'm talking about is like a legit like guy in Japan. Like he bought this like little house, and supposedly it was really haunted, so he got it for cheap, I think.
Yeah.
And there he's literally just showing us how like he deals with ghosts. Like there's one where there's like I said there's one where he heard crying, and like he found like where the crying was, and so he grabbed like a pot of boiling water and poured it, and like all you heard was like a scream, and then like it vanished.
That's so sad.
That is pretty funny actually.
That gives me like scary movie vibes. You know when
like the funny one.
yeah, scary movie. Yeah, scary movie
scary movie.
vibes. When like she's taking care of this one lady.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's like Asian ghosts in there.
It's supposed to represent like the grudge.
Like the grudge, yeah. Like it's like the grudge,
Yeah.
like spoof or something or whatever,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that totally reminded me. No, but this guy, he's
Actually, I've seen those too on TikTok though.
and it wasn't in Japan. It was like somewhere else.
It was like, I feel like it's like,
I
it
don't-
gives me like Russian vibes.
no,
only-
he's not Russian though. He's
Oh,
he's Asian though. I don't know if he's like in the Philippines or
Oh, probably.
some
I feel like
other...
I've seen it. There's one where like he kicked a ghost's head.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen. I'll show it to you later.
Please
like,
do. I want to see if I know.
I just think it's really.
I think
was
it's funny.
like, wow, like that guy is like, he's like legit like the what's it called? He's like the person that comes to mind when I think like fighting
Fighting ghosts.
like
Or
ghost
just-
hunter. Like
Oh yeah.
like legit like either your flight or fight response, and his is always like, let me fight this ghost.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, but like,
I
see,
love
I
it.
wouldn't do that because I'm too scared.
I feel like I feel like my intrusive thoughts would win, and I'd be like, "Yeah, you should go punch the ghost."
Girl, I'd be too scared. I'd be like,
My intrusive thoughts would win.
I would not approach. I
I
would not approach that. I'd be
You'd
like,
get too scared.
I'm running away. I would run away. I would get Bambi, Lady, Belle, everybody, and run out.
Everybody, not me.
I said everybody.
Oh, I'd want to punch the ghost in the face. I would like to.
Now, then I guess I'm leaving you behind. If you're gonna punch the ghost, you can stay behind.
I would swing at a ghost.
I would not be like,
I would.
What the? Like,
There are some instances where I thought I heard something in my room, and I would throw something at like the corner where I thought it was. Cause Tila,
it's Simba.
not Simba. Simba's on my bed.
Simba was like, "Why'd you throw that at me?"
No, cause sometimes I would so my friend, the one that lives with us, Tila,
Yeah.
when me and her shared a room, she would be like, "Angie, I would see things in your room," and then one time she woke me up and she was like, but she was half asleep. I don't think she remembers this, cause I told her about it later on, and she was like, "I don't remember that," but she was half asleep. She was like, "Angie, there's something here." I'm like, "Where?" She's like, "There's something here." She pointed at a corner, and I threw something at the corner, and I swear I heard something like a thud, like midway, like flying.
The thing you threw, girl, that's what you heard.
No, it wasn't like, it was like midway through the air. It felt like it said something invisible. It's like it's hard to explain. Okay, like me and Tila were both shocked.
Well, Angie.
But it was like kind of like unexpected. Like we're both staring at it, and then I just threw something, one of my toys, like one of my plushies, and we heard like a thud, like a.
It was your plushie hitting the floor.
No, it wasn't that, because I remember it was like midway through the air, like at the corner of my bed. It like hit something in the middle of the air, which made a thud like midway through, and then all of a sudden it just falls.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
It's pretty funny.
Actually, I would have been so scary. I would have pooped myself.
I was laughing.
You were laughing.
It was like 3 a.m. It was kind of funny. Which makes it even worse.
Girl, it's 3 a.m. It's the witching hour.
Yeah, but we never saw anything after that.
Oh gosh, you scared it.
I probably did. He didn't expect it.
He was like, "Oh, these people fight back."
And like, oh, she got
Ghost
hands.
is like, "I'm not about that life."
I threw a doll. You know, my Mong doll you bought for me at Hot Topic.
So I helped you.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard.
You're welcome.
That's why like the thud was like more like prominent. It was like,
I saved your life that day.
I guess. Saved Teal's life. I wasn't worrying about it.
Tila's life. Tila was asleep. She didn't even know about it.
She was half
either.
asleep. She was half asleep.
She didn't even remember it.
She was like, "Angie, there's something there." And I'm like, "What?" I don't see it. Probably because I was like kind of awake. Because she scared me when she woke me up. She like shook me. You know how much of a deep sleeper I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to like physically like shake me.
Extremely deep.
Yeah, so deep. I don't wake up to alarms. But yeah,
Yeah.
she shook me awake and I was like, "Huh?" And then I woke up because she was like, "Angie, there's something there." So I was like, my fight or flight senses kicked in and I chose fight.
You threw it.
I chose fight. I was staring at the corner. I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "There's something there." And we both stared at it for like 3 seconds and then I threw it. And then we both just looked at each other and I was like, "Yeah, I did that."
You're like, I got him.
Yeah, I was like, "Miss."
Dude.
I was like, just because you're invisible doesn't mean I can't see your fear. I'm kidding.
I smell your fear.
I smell it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm funny.
Yeah. Looking.
Oh.
Just kidding.
How dare you?
Okay, Angie. I'm ready to hear what you have to say.
Alright. So today's story, I don't know if you heard of this. It is pretty popular amongst creepypasta and just in general, like, scary stories.
What is it?
It's called the Russian Sleep Experiment. So I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Oh, you know
Have
what?
you
I
heard
think
of
I have.
it? Yeah, it's one
I've
of those.
Either heard of it or read a little bit about it on Facebook.
Well, either way, I'm gonna read it to you all.
Okay, good. Because I'm pretty sure either if I did hear it, I did not hear all of it or did not read all of it. Probably portions. But yeah, I'm
Probably.
excited to see what you have because you might know different things or
This is my favorite
add more
story.
detail to it. Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just, whenever it comes to like creepypastas, like when they're like set back, like in the past.
Okay. Yeah, it gives it more
This was
like
like
of
in
a,
Soviet Russia.
yeah, it gives it more like an
Like-
eerie feeling to it.
Yeah.
Kind of in a way, knowing that or
Yeah.
it could happen in the past.
Yeah. This was like, yeah, like
So we're in the history.
it was the
of
1940s
creepypasta.
basically. Yeah.
We're in the history of the creepypasta.
I love it when it's in the past. I love when it's old.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
So, Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas-based stimulant. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so the gas didn't kill them, since it was toxic in high concentrations. This was before closed circuit cameras, so they had only microphones and 5-inch thick glass porthole-sized windows to monitor them.
And this gas that's supposed to keep them awake.
Yeah. So they're like basically like war prisoners.
I was gonna say I have no idea who would voluntarily volunteer for this, like voluntarily like their own free will, because I love sleep and I'm pretty sure people love sleep too.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard that you can go like a whole week without food, just water, but you can only go a few days without sleep.
Well, you can't go like 3 days without water, actually.
No, I said like, oh, sorry. What I meant to say is you can go a whole week without food,
Yeah.
just water.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine. Like you'll still, like, you could probably be like really hungry, but you'll be.
Yeah, I heard.
You'll still survive.
If you don't sleep, like you'll like slowly go insane, and I feel like that will kill you.
Yeah. And then like no sleep, like.
Yeah. That is pretty lethal.
Yeah.
But this was an experiment, and they were prisoners.
Okay.
Actually, they were political prisoners.
Oof. Okay, keep going.
So, the chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep in, but there was no bedding, running water, and a toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. The test subjects were political prisoners, deemed enemies of the state during World War II. Everything was fine for the first 5 days. The subjects hardly complained, having been promised that they would be freed if they submitted to the test and did not sleep for 30 days. So it's kind of like you have to volunteer in order to gain your freedom. Sorry, I hit the microphone.
What if you start like nodding off? Do they like shock you awake? Oh, sorry. Continue.
We'll get to that. Yeah,
bro.
we'll get to
This
that.
is starting to think already, but good.
Yeah. Their conversations and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past. And the general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the 4-day mark. So, like, the gas was already turned on and stuff like that. This is the effect of the gas. After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were, and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other and began alternately whispering to the microphones and a one-way mirror porthole. Oddly, they all seemed to think that they could win the trust of the experimenters by turning over their comrades, the other subjects in captivity, with them. At first, the researchers suspected this was an effect of the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber, repeatedly yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. He continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks after that. Because he ruptured his vocal cords.
Yeah, I was gonna say he lost his voice.
Yeah, the researchers, like, after that, the researchers postulated that he had physically torn out his own vocal cords, actually.
Oh. Well, I mean, he hasn't slept in a while, so he's probably going a little insane.
Because the gas keeps you awake. Like, even if you're tired, you can't sleep. Mm-hmm.
I would be so mad. I would be upset. I would be so grumpy.
They're going insane.
Continue, yeah. They're going really bad.
The most surprising thing about this behavior is how other captives reacted to it. Or rather, they didn't react at all. They continued whispering to the microphones until the second of the captives started screaming. The 2 non-screaming captives now started to take books apart and began to smear pages with their own feces and paste them calmly over the glass portholes. Start to barricade themselves in.
Oh my gosh.
The screaming promptly stopped. So did the whispering to the microphones. After 3 more days passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it impossible that no sound could be coming with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the tank in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, The researchers did something they said they would not do to get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response. From the captives, they were afraid were either dead or vegetables. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of your immediate freedoms."
Just one person.
Yeah.
That's a fight waiting to happen. Especially after you've been tortured like that. Okay, go.
To their surprise, they heard a single phrase in a calm voice response. "We no longer want to be freed." Debate broke out among the researchers and the military forces funding their research. Unable to provoke any more responses using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air, and immediately voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones, to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened, and soldiers sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one could really call this state that they were in life. The food rations past day 5 had not been so much as touched. There were chunks of meat from the dead subjects' thighs and chest stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber floor, blocking the drain and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much water on the floor was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh and exposed bones on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth, as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the positions and angles of the wounds indicate the most, if not all, of them were self-inflicted. The abdominal organs below the rib cage of all 4 test subjects had been removed, while the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place. So they removed their own organs.
Oh my gosh, how are they still alive?
The gas?
The gas.
The gas is something else. Yeah.
Wow. And the blood loss.
Yeah.
And the shock. Well, I mean, they were probably were shocked.
Well, yeah, but like the gas is like turned them into like these weird like monsters.
Basically, huh? Essentially,
they became too dependent on the gas. It's kind of like addiction. They wanted the gas. They needed the gas, or else they felt like they were gonna die. You know, they basically were dying, but really not.
But they probably were dying a little slower, maybe? Or
probably. Because if they can endure all that, and one already died.
The other ones probably killed them, huh?
Probably.
Is what it seems like.
Probably, or he killed himself.
Probably. Killed himself
before like everything else happened.
His own meat down the drain.
Probably. He went too crazy.
Okay.
Anyways. So, the skin and most of the muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the rib cage. All the blood vessels and organs remained intact. They had just been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen to be working, digesting food. It quickly became apparent that what they were digesting was their own flesh that had been ripped off and eaten over the course of days. Most of the soldiers were Russian special operatives at the facility, but still, many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. They continued to scream to be left in the chamber, and alternately begged and demanded that the gas be turned back on, lest they fall asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out. Another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off.
Oh my god.
And an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth.
What?
They're savages.
Yeah.
Another 5 of the soldiers lost their lives if you count ones that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident.
After seeing that, they're traumatized.
Well, yeah, what the heck?
I would have been so scared. I would be like,
I was traumatized too.
let's not do that. That was a bad idea.
Just imagine that scene. No. But, okay. Anyways, in the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured, and he bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative and still felt like a cornered animal. Breaking the ribs and arms of one doctor. When the heart was seen to beat for a full 2 minutes after he had bled out to the point there was more air in his vascular system than blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach, and just repeated the word more over and over, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility. The 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most injured one of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs replaced or placed back within his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given to him to prepare him for the surgery. He fought fiercely against his restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him under. He managed to tear most of the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on one wrist, even though the weight of a 200-pound soldier holding the wrist as well. Or even through, sorry. It took only a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under, and the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. So, technically, if they sleep, they die. That's why they want to keep being kept awake.
Yeah, that's what I was going to need to kind of say. That's kind of what I thought. Basically, they were like, don't put me to sleep.
Because I'll die.
Turn the gas back on, because if I sleep, I'll die. Like, that's going to be the last time they ever close their eyes.
No matter how crazy they went, they don't care. They want to be kept alive. In the autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. His muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had 9 broken bones because of the struggle he had to not be subdued or sedated. Most of them were from the force his own muscles had exerted on themselves. The second survivor had been the first of the group of 5 to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his head yes when someone suggested reluctantly. They tried the surgery without anesthetic and did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin. The surgeon presiding stated repeatedly that it should be medically impossible for a patient to still be alive after that. One terrified nurse assisting the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk while struggling. Assuming this must be something of drastic importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so the patient could write his message. It was simple. Keep cutting. They enjoyed it.
He liked that. He liked the pain.
He enjoyed the pain. That's probably why they mutilated themselves, because maybe that was pleasure for them. Maybe the gas turned that feeling of pain into pleasure.
Well, considering that they were going crazy and they haven't slept for a while, I would believe that. Yeah.
Oof. Wow, this is it's not as gory as the other stories. Well, it doesn't go that much into detail.
No, but I mean, you can kind of imagine.
It's still kind of scary.
Like, medically, you can kind of imagine what's going on with their bodies. And
I feel like that's more scary than the other stories. That's why I kind of like this. Because it's not that gory or that put into detail when it comes to gore. But, like, I like that you can imagine it more. I can imagine more because the other ones are kind of, like, Um, well, Suicide Squidward was a cartoon, so I can't really imagine a cartoon, or I can't really like, yeah, I can't really imagine that would happen in a cartoon.
Yeah.
And what was the one before that? Laughing Jack.
Laughing Jack.
That was like some unexplained magic or something like that that I just can't imagine because I've never experienced it. And Smile Dog. Well, I guess I can imagine that, but there wasn't like a lot of like gore in it.
Yeah.
So it didn't really make it that interesting, but it was interesting still.
Yeah.
But anyways, um, yeah, the other two test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic as well. Although they had to be injected with a paralytic for the duration of the operation. Their surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared their systems in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bounds, or their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for the stimulant gas. The researchers tried asking why they had injured themselves, why they had ripped out their own guts, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. Only one response was given: I must remain awake. All three subjects' restraints were reinforced and they were placed back into the chamber, awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, an ex-KGB, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but were overruled. So to the commanding officer, I'm assuming it was kind of like a sick enjoyment. Like it was like you know, like those like people that like to watch something even though it's wrong, but it's enjoyable because they're just kind of like twisted in their mind.
I guess. Or he could also just been like, well, we already made it this far into the research. Might as well just see what else happens. Like, kind of like a little curious. And also, he must be thinking we already funded this, so.
I guess, but like a lot of soldiers died from this, Erica. So
Like a lot.
a lot. So that's why I'm saying like it's kind of like sick curiosity at this point.
Yeah.
In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EEG monitor and had their restraints padded for long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all three stopped struggling the moment it was let slip that they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that at this point all three were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute subject was straining his legs against the leather bounds with all his might, first left, then right, then left again, for something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired for EEG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brainwaves, in surprise. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlined inexplicably. It looked as if he were repeatedly suffering brain death before returning to normal. As they focused on the paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw his eyes slip shut. At the same moment his head hit the pillow, his brainwaves immediately changed to that of a deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. So while off the gas, they're getting sleepy again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So they were
you
like
go
struggling
so long without sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna want to. I could just feel. You know, when you're trying to stay
I
awake
can
for
feel
so
it.
long.
Like
Can you
you're like,
imagine them, 15 plus days, like being awake, and then them trying to fight for their life because that's what they're doing. They're fighting for their lives because they know if they go to sleep, they're gonna die.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of weird because this story like it's basically they're kind of like monsters from what I see, but they're still normal. It's just that the the gas like messed them up so bad that they're trying to do anything.
Yeah,
They're awake.
so they're like, they look human.
Well, kind of. They're like
But,
mutilated at this point.
well, yeah, but they're mutilated humans, but they're
Yep.
still human.
Mm-hmm.
Genetically, they're human, but that gas kind of like
Like mutated them somehow.
in a way, yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking like making them to like kind of like super soldiers, you know,
kind of.
because they
Yeah.
all of a sudden they don't feel pain as much, or they like the pain, and then
Or like
plain
is pleasurable.
Yeah,
maybe.
and then they're like,
And they don't
like,
need to sleep.
They're just like strong, and they just kind of like.
And they're pretty strong for like
fracture
being so
bones.
like fragile and small and like weak and injured. They're strong, which is even more scary.
Yeah.
But it's only like if they see that they're not getting what they want, which is the gas. Oops, sorry.
So they became like addicted to the gas.
Yeah.
Like a drug to them.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
It's pretty scary. The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flat lines as one who had just died from falling asleep. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 researchers. Oof.
The researchers.
3 of them were assigned
they
to be
can
in there
see?
too. Yeah.
What they do? Oh my god! Can you imagine being that researcher?
Yep.
Terrified.
I'd be terrified because you're gonna be sealed in it with the gas. I'd be like, oh my god.
I never thought of that.
Girl,
I didn't
they're
think of the
gonna
gas. I just
You
thought
forgot
that
about
they
the
were
gas?
gonna be stuck in there with the patients.
No, they're gonna seal
And
them in with the
see-
gas.
And see them through. I just totally forgot about the gas. Okay.
Oh my god. Oof. This is like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's scary because
Wait, wouldn't they
It
give
can
him
ha-
like
Like
a hazmat mask suit or something? You know? Wouldn't they give him like a respirator that protects against the gas?
No. No.
We can talk about that right now.
No.
Okay.
You'll see
All right.
what's gonna happen.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
One of the named 3 researchers immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between the eyes, then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well. He pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to the bed as the remaining members of the medical and research team fled the room. I won't be locked in here with these things, not with you, he screamed at the man strapped to the table. What are you? He demanded. I must know. The subject smiled. Have you forgotten so easily? The subject asked. We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread. The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's heart and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out. So nearly free. That's the end of the story, Erica. How do you feel about
Did he
it?
shoot him?
I'm assuming, yeah.
Oh yeah, he did shoot him. You said he shot him in the heart.
Yep. And oh yeah, he said that like while dying. How do you feel? What did you think of this story? It's my favorite story. Also, because I feel like it's my favorite because it's the most realistic.
Yes.
Well, because I can imagine it like back in the 1940s.
Oh, I'm pretty
my
sure
gosh.
they must have like experimented a bunch on
I'm pretty sure.
people on like war like,
criminals.
war criminal. No, not
Or,
just
like,
that.
political
Just like
criminals.
captives too.
Yeah.
I think a long time ago I saw this documentary on this German Nazi like doctor, and he was like experimenting with these women. I don't remember. It was in some Spanish speaking country in South America somewhere.
Oh,
Because
okay.
so like there's like this town that has a bunch of twins.
Oh,
and it's
okay,
because-
no, I've heard of
Have
that.
you heard of that?
I've heard
and
of
it's
that.
and it's because like that like that doctor was kind of like experimenting.
He was like intrigued of the thought of twins.
Yeah, so then he started because he kind of was thinking, oh, it'd be pretty cool if we had the superior race come up in twos every single
Yeah.
time someone's pregnant. So that's why he was kind of like, but before all that, he was kind of experimenting on women, that like pregnant women that he had like caught like either like Jewish women or women of color or something,
Yeah.
and he basically like either he would say, okay, what would happen if I don't let this baby be born? when it wants to come out. So he would like tie the woman's legs together as the woman was trying to be was
No.
in labor, and then he would basically see what would happen, or he would like inject stuff
To her, like,
into her womb
oh,
while the baby was still in there and see what would happen. So
Oh,
he would do like
no.
these like really like gruesome and grotesque like experiments on the woman, and then so since when World War II was over, and they basically so they lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Germans lost.
Mm-hmm.
So the Nazis were kind of like fleeing,
Yeah.
for their crimes. So he fled Europe, and he went over to South America. So
Yeah.
there's this one spot now that there's a lot of twins being born, but because he was kind of experimenting on them from there as well, like
Yeah.
either he was injecting something into them, or he was doing something that was making the woman kind of have two babies instead of one.
Yeah, and like genetically, I think that just continued.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a documentary of that actually, and like, I've seen a documentary where like one of the victims was actually a twin herself.
Oh,
Like
really?
it was a twin girl, and her sister died during the experiments.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I see. I did not know that. This was a long time ago. I forgot what
Yeah,
the
but
documentary was called.
the girl, the lady, she was old now, but yeah, she was just talking about how like her memories, and like how like she remembered her sister dying, and I thought it was pretty sad because that was like her only safe haven was her sister.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing your sister or someone so close to you die in like a horrible way. You're pretty upset.
Yeah, that messes a person up
I know a lot.
mentally. Apparently, so does not sleeping messes you up.
Oh yeah, and
And I mean, I've
and taking a large amount of some weird gas that the Russians make.
oh yeah, for sure.
Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Russians.
Yeah, so I mean, I enjoyed this one too, and I found it really interesting when I read it the 1st time too, because it seems like the most plausible out of everything
That's
we've
why it's my favorite.
heard. Out of all the other fictional like creepypastas we have heard, this one's like the most plausible one because it seems like there would be some experimentation going on,
Yeah.
and then I have heard that you do kind of go a little like kind of like crazy, kind of
Yeah, me
loopy, kind of
too.
wonky in the head whenever you do not sleep as much because
Yeah.
basically sleeping is your brain's way of resting up.
Yeah. You do go crazy. You like start hallucinating and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like there's always like this like darker side of like humans
Oh yeah.
that some people kind of like show and others don't.
Mm-hmm.
Some people kind of like mask it, other people don't mask it. So I mean, without sleeping, they probably lost that inability to stop masking it. So it just came out.
Yeah, the human brain is so amusing to me, honestly.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's
Like it's such a great mystery.
I know. Did you know?
What?
Sorry. Just a little fun fact that I saw on TikTok that I actually do believe, because at this point, what is there to not believe? That supposedly the brain is capable of living thousands of years, but our bodies, the thing that our brain like is like inside, its habitat, is just too weak.
Oh, to keep us alive?
Yep. Our brain's power is strong enough to keep us, or to keep itself alive, but since our body is like,
Oh, so the brain, like, so like basically the brain / consciousness can still remain alive. So that means that the Matrix can be possible, or like,
probably,
or
I
like,
believe.
or like preserving, like when they say that they preserve someone's head for their brain, and then they're trying to see if like later on in the future, like they find a way to like bring it back to life.
Yep. Also, I've been hearing, I don't know if this is fake, because I remember a long time ago, because sometimes I'm on YouTube, right, and I just like, I like looking through like medical facts, or just like some weird medical anomalies or something like that. And I remember seeing that, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think so, because it was a documentary style, but it was British, about the first human head transplant onto a body. Because there was
Head transplant?
yeah, this was back in like 2015 though, I think. I forgot, but it was like a few years back. But there was this guy, he was like paralyzed from the waist down, or like the neck down, or just like, yeah, like the neck down. So they cut off his head, they placed it in ice or something like that, or like they placed it in like some sort of machine that would help keep it alive. Because you know how like for heart transplants, they made this machine where it keeps it pumping and alive for a longer time than just having it in ice or something.
Yeah.
I think they did that to the head, and then they put the head on like this cadaver that matched I guess what the head needed.
Basically you need like HLA typing, so
Yep.
so your body, so it wouldn't reject it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably the same HLA type.
Yeah. So, but that was like a long wait list. I'm pretty sure. Long wait list. Because they had to like wait
Imagine
for the
how
corpse.
expensive this is. The way you're saying it, I just think of the cost. I'm like,
Well, this was in Europe,
girl.
Erica.
Oh, so it's probably cheaper. But here in the U.S.,
I don't think do they pay for surgery over there? I know that the healthcare is free. Maybe they do pay for some surgery, but like it's not expensive.
I saw in TikTok that this lady had like flight insurance or something. She kind of like broke something. She went over there, and they're all like, "Ooh, the X-ray is a little expensive." She's like, "How much?" And she's like, "Just like $100." And she's like, "That's nothing."
Over here, it's like in the thousands.
Probably like 10,000 or $1,000. It's a lot.
A lot.
Actually, yeah.
But yeah, I remember when I was like first hearing about like facial transplants, and now that, so I was like amused. That's when like my mind, like something flickered in me. I was like, anything's kind of possible.
That's insane. But can you imagine how like weird he must have felt if it would have?
I think he was born
was it
paralyzed.
Successful?
Yeah, it was actually.
He walked after that and he was able to move.
Well, I'm guessing he has to learn how to walk, cause it's kind of like a baby. He was born paralyzed.
Oh, so he didn't know how to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so he had to like learn everything fresh. He never experienced that, so I'm guessing it's gonna take a long time.
He must have felt really out of like place. Like he must have felt really uncomfortable in his own body.
Yeah,
because that wasn't his body. So his brain probably knew it's not my body.
probably.
And it was just he must have felt like so weird. Because sometimes that happens, or they've heard like there's been instances where like you get like a transplant and they're all like, oh, this is not mine, or they feel out of place or something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like
yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
There's like something opposite about that, where like let's say like you have a healthy limb, but you feel like it's not yours in either way.
Oh, maybe I was thinking of that.
Heard that? It's like somebody like one day they like look at their arm and they're like, this is useless. I don't need this, and they have like the heavy need to amputate it, and so they do. They amputate their arm, even though it's like perfectly healthy. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a mental disorder, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Never mind then. That's different. I don't know about that. That was yeah.
No, I know what you mean.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's all I have to say, and that's. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Let me think. That's scary. I'm gonna go to sleep on time now.
Me just staying awake late at night.
It's fun staying awake.
I mean, yeah. Well, I think
just on TikTok or playing games.
Also, Erica, I feel like we'll be okay since we're not consuming.
Yeah.
A copious amount of gas.
Yeah. Who knows? Like that cocktail of chemicals that could have been there.
I know. Even though it's fictional, I'm just like in my head. I'm like, I want more details.
We need the ingredients list.
I need.
We need the ingredients list.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it, but like I just need to know what's in it.
Yeah, what's
and
that?
Just in case, like I have to be aware of anything that's like near me. Then I'm just like, what if that contains that?
Oh my gosh, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm sleeping on time now.
No, you're not.
But we have to sleep on time.
We do, but we can't really, because I'm usually down here waiting for you to get home from work.
Yeah.
You get home from work really late, so.
Yeah. But then we sleep a good amount of time. You sleep a lot, girl.
I wake up I'm until... good. I think I'm good for losing a few hours of sleep, actually.
Your eyes say otherwise.
Dude, you see my eye bags? How dare you?
Me too, my puffy eyes. Oh my gosh, Angie. Okay. I think that's it for today's story, right?
That is it for today's story.
Okay, awesome. Thank you all for listening today. We are either we're gonna listen to the second story that you have ready, right?
Yep.
Or we're also thinking about maybe possibly doing like a bonus episode.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I'll be telling Angie a story, or I'll be telling Angie anything about the topic we think of that day.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a topic where she's more educated on it.
Yeah. We'll have to do some research.
We won't expose it yet, but until the episode.
Yeah, but we might be thinking of doing that, so it just depends on whether I have a time or not because of work and everything else going on in life.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be working hard on getting that done so I can share it here with everybody. But
I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you all for listening. Please follow if you're not following so you can get updates on when the podcast is released.
Mm-hmm.
Is out, yes. Go follow our Instagram, Fester Thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, Fester Thoughts.
Yes,
With
but
no E.
well, there's the last E after, or
It's
the
gone.
before the D is gone because it didn't really fit in the
It-
username.
Yep.
And then we have a TikTok at Fester Thoughts, which is spelled normally.
And Facebook as
We
well.
have a Facebook,
Fester
yes.
Thoughts.
Facebook page. Mm.
Yes. Please go show your support. We listen to you guys whenever you guys have any opinions.
Opinions, yeah. I like listening to people's like opinions
Or
and
critiques. Their
like
thoughts
critiques.
and
I
critiques.
like listening to it. Even if it's like considered mean, I take it to appreciation. Like when your friend when not your friend when some people said that I was screaming too loud in their ears because I would hear it too. I like in editing I'll tell like Erica, they're like, oh my god, I'm so loud. What can we do? Because we can't really.
We've already recorded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I took that into appreciation and I hope I sound better.
So that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you guys next Wednesday for the next episode. Bye.
Bye bye.